All right, hey everybody, and welcome to Zenfolio Live. I'm Robert with Zenfolio Customer Success. I want to say thanks for joining us and hanging out with us today on the live stream. It is December 12th, you guys. I cannot believe that we are almost over and past and through 2020. Just not too many more days, weeks left, and we're going to be not just in a new year, but in a new decade. That is crazy, you guys. I can't believe how fast time has flown by this week. Hey, if you're hanging out with us today, make sure you say hi to us. Let us know where you're from. Say hi to us in the chat there. We love having you guys say hi to us. Let us know where you're from. We love having you guys that come back week after week and hang out with us here on the live stream. Today, we're going to be talking about the best gallery settings for client proofing. So I'm going to talk about what exactly is client proofing, setting your file names as your image titles, and why you want to do that. I'm going to show you how to turn on Zenfolio's built-in proofing favorites option. And then we're going to talk about the gallery settings. I'm going to show you some of the best settings that I recommend using, and then I'm going to show you how to save those as your gallery default. So that's the stuff that we're going to be going through today. Also, if you guys follow what I'm setting up today and you set up your galleries like this, what we're going to talk about next week is we're going to talk about client proofing 102 is what I'm going to call it. And it's going to be going through the whole process of client proofing. So I'm going to take you through that whole process of how it works for your clients, how you need to follow up with it, how you replace photos and all of that stuff. And I'm going to be giving you guys a new client proofing tutorial that you can download, you can upload in your Zenfolio account, you can upload to your YouTube channel and share it with your clients so they have a tutorial to show them how to select their favorites and proof their photos based on the settings that I'm showing you guys today. Hey, speaking of the date, did anybody catch the last full moon of the decade? That was this morning, 12/12 at 12:12 a.m. Pretty crazy. Anybody stay up and catch that or wake up early enough to catch it? Let me know. I'd love to see some photos sometime. If you got some photos, shoot them to us. Support at zenfolio.com. But hey, hanging out with me today, I've got Richard. He's going to be taking care of you guys in chat. Apparently, he is way more excited about the holidays than I am, but that's fine. And then let's see, we've got Kat Hastings. I'm going to try to say your name right. Kat Hastings hanging out with us. Craigslist. Eli True 2007 jumping on here and hanging out with us. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. We're going to go ahead and jump into the content right now. All right, so what exactly is client proofing? Well, client proofing is where basically you and your client either together or you let your client do it, but you're not uploading edited images, or maybe you're uploading very minimally edited images and you're allowing your client to choose their favorites. That way you don't spend a lot of time editing photos that your clients are not going to order anyway. Now, again, the benefit to doing it this way is that you're not spending a lot of time editing those photos that your clients aren't going to order, and you're just going to edit the photos that they order, whether you're letting them order prints, whether you're letting them do digital downloads, whatever the case may be. Instead of editing really fine detail everything that you upload, you're going to upload and then let the clients pick their favorite photos and then come back and do your processing afterwards and replace those images here on Zenfolio. Now, in order to do that, we need to make it as easy as possible for your clients to go through, to look over the photos, to let you know which ones they want you to edit, which ones they plan on ordering, etc., etc. So that's what we're going to be talking about. So the first thing I want to talk about is setting your file names as your photo titles. So when your clients are in the client galleries, all right, I'm going to show you guys how to set up and use favorites, which basically has a little icon they can click and save this favorite. But another thing that's nice is if you like to do some communicating back and forth with your client, and maybe they're talking about a particular photo, it's nice if they can just tell you the file name, right? So instead of saying like, oh, I'm in my gallery, I really like the third one down and the fourth one across and the third one down, instead of trying to do that, what if they could just give you the file name of the image that they liked when they're on the phone with you? Well, that's why I always recommend setting your file names as your photo titles. Now, this is not going to be your primary means of allowing your clients to proof photos. This is more of just a backup in case your clients are having some technical difficulties, or maybe they just don't like doing things through the favorites feature and they want to give you a call. They just want to be able to reference those file names. So first of all, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to turn it on by default, and then I'm going to show you how to turn on the file names for any photos that you might have missed or previously uploaded. So in your account, what you're going to do is you're actually just going to hover over your name right up here, and you're going to go to account right here. And then what you're going to look for is you're going to look for upload settings. So it's kind of hidden right here behind me. It says upload settings right here. You're going to click on this. And then in here, you're just going to make sure that it is set to automatically copy your file names as the photo titles. So what that means is that from that point on, after you turn this option on and you save it, your file names are going to become your image titles, so that when people are browsing the images in the gallery, they see the file names. All right, while we're here, I might as well go ahead and show you this other setting. If you are using Zenfolio's green screen feature and you upload a lot of PNG files and you sometimes forget to assign them as cutouts, you can go ahead and turn that automatic option on right here as well. Now, once you've made your selections, you're going to go ahead and click this save button, and then that's going to be set up. Okay, so now from this point on, any file that you upload, the file name is going to become the photo title, and any PNG that you upload is going to automatically be assigned as a green screen cutout, saving you a couple of steps, saving you a lot of time, and most importantly for me, saving something extra that I have to remember to do. So really important to set those things up. All right, and hey, I forgot to mention it earlier, but as we're going through this, guys, if you have questions, even if it's not on the topic that we're talking about today, make sure that you get those questions in the chat. Richard's going to be passing those over to me. We're going to get those questions answered for you live. So even if it's not on the topic of what we're talking about today, throw your Zenfolio questions in there and we will get those answered for you live today. Okay, so now that we've turned on the automatic copy file name to photo titles, the next thing that we want to do is we want to go and maybe we've added some photos in here that before we turn this on, we want to make sure that those photos have their file names. All right. Or maybe you don't want all of your galleries to show the file names, only specific ones. Well, if that's the case, this is how you're going to set that up to happen. So you're going to navigate to the gallery. So you're going to click on the gallery here. You're going to go to select all when you see the photos, and then you're going to go to details, and you're going to check this little box that says copy from file name, and then you're going to click the save button right down here at the bottom. All right. Excuse me. And apparently these photos have either weird file names or something else going on with them, but that's how you do that. And then the file name should show up here. So let me go back and just do that one more time. We're going to say copy from file name, and we're going to hit save. All right. Okay. So the reason that you're doing that again is if these are photos that you've uploaded that maybe you didn't have that automatic option turned on, and you need to go back and you need to make sure that it shows the file names. Okay, so I'm going to go down to, let's go down to a wedding gallery here. Let's take a look at a wedding gallery. Because next what we're going to do is we're going to be jumping into the gallery settings of how I recommend setting this up to allow people to go in and select favorites and proof their photos. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do on this gallery is make sure that I go ahead and unlock it. It says, because I don't need it to be private, I want it to be password protected. So I'm going to switch this over to password protected. I'm just going to write a quick password in there and hit save right here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to load this gallery into customize view. Okay, so that's where we're going to change these settings and set different things up. And I always like working in multiple tabs. So what I'm going to do is leave this view open, and then I'm going to open up customize view in another tab. So that way I can bounce back and forth between the two views. So what I'm going to do is just right click on the preview button, click the open link in a new tab. That's going to open that up in a new tab, and then I can bounce back and forth between these different screens when I need to. So I'm just going to drop this down, Go up here, click on this. We're going to go to edit. We're going to go to edit page. And now we're going to have customize view opened up in one tab and the edit view opened up in the other tab. And I can kind of jump back and forth between these two views. All right. So to get started in here, what we're going to do first of all is we want to make sure that the option for our clients to save favorites is turned on. Now, I think when you created an account, and definitely it depends on when you created an account, I think by default, this option is turned on by default, but if you're not sure, you might want to go check. So what you're going to do here in Customize View is you're going to go down to Site Settings, and then on the General tab, you're going to go to, on the Favorites tab right here. So you're not going to go in the General, you're going to go down to the Favorites and just make sure that the option to allow visitors to add favorites is selected right here. All right. Now there are two other options under here and they are worth mentioning. You might want to pay attention to them. The first one is allowing your visitor to share favorites with you. And we're going to talk about shared favorites and non-shared favorites a little bit more next week. So if you're interested in that topic, make sure that you come on the live, you come check us out on the live stream next week. So that way you can learn all about how the shared and unshared favorites work. But for me, I'm going to recommend that you leave this on because this is what lets your visitors kind of do the final process of sharing a set of favorites with you. Now, the next option is the option to allow your visitors to share favorites out with others. So once they go in and they create these favorite sets, there is an option to let them share the favorites. Now, if the gallery is password protected, they will have to let whoever they're sharing that set of favorites know the password so they can get in and view those favorites. This is an option you can let them have if you want, or you can turn this off. Quite honestly, unless there's a really big reason why I want this option to appear, I usually turn this off. I don't want people getting confused and sharing it out from a password protected gallery and then have to tell them, okay, well now your friend has to enter the password and all that. So for me, my personal opinion is that this causes a little bit more confusion than I would like to deal with. So I usually turn that option off. All right, so then we're going to go down here and we're just going to click apply. And now that favorite option is turned on. Okay, but that's not just enough. The next thing that you need to make sure is that you need to make sure that the gallery has the favorites icon enabled. So right now, if I'm kind of hovering over these images, there's not really a way to save favorites unless I go to select photos and then I click on one and then I can click the add favorites. Well, to be quite honest, this is not the route that I prefer people go through in order to save favorites, because for me, all of that extra clicking seems to be a little bit more work, and I find this method confusing. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually go into some of the settings in this gallery, and we're going to set this up. So I'll show you what, in my opinion, I think is the best settings for you to use if you're letting people utilize favorites and going in here and proofing their photos. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up here to options, and I'm going to kind of work these tabs from top to bottom. So I'm going to kind of stay in order and work these down here. Then I'll let you guys see what the results look like. So first of all, this gallery is currently using my default settings, meaning whatever I saved before to be the default, those settings are now the default settings. And oh, sorry guys, I pushed the wrong button. Hold on one second. There we go. Okay, so these settings are the default settings, and those are what's going to be applied to all of my galleries. So right now what I'm doing is individually customizing this gallery, and then since this is for a client gallery, I'll probably want these settings to be the default setting whenever for all of my clients. So I'm going to uncheck this at first right here. And then the first thing is that when a gallery does not have a price list applied to it, when a client clicks a photo, it's going to open to one of two places. There's a photo page that it's going to open to, and there's lots of different layouts and lots of different customization options that can happen there. And then there's dim the lights mode. I prefer dim the lights mode, especially for proofing, because what dim the lights mode does is it opens that photo up just on a really larger scale on their screen and kind of dims it all behind it. So if you're familiar with YouTube, YouTube has like a theater mode This is kind of what dim the lights mode is. It opens that image up larger, kind of dims everything behind it. This is what I prefer, because if you go to the photo page, then you're going to have another page that you're going to want to make sure you go in and configure the options. And for me, it just doesn't work as good as the dim the lights mode. So I'm going to make sure my thumbnails page is turned on. And then I'm going to go and make sure that when thumbnails are clicked, I want people going to dim the lights mode. All right, and then we're just going to move down this tab over here. We're going to go on page options. I'm not going to cover completely everything in the page options, but I am going to cover a few things. So first of all, we're going to go right here to the path to gallery. This is your breadcrumbs. I recommend having that turned off. That's going to let people see how they got into their gallery. So if you have this gallery in a bunch of folders, depending on how you have your account set up, I usually recommend turning this off because my clients always access their gallery via a direct link. Categories and keywords. If the gallery is password protected, you might as well leave this off. Number of items. I don't really feel like this is something that's important to show for proofing. You guys let me know in the chat. What do you think? Would number of items be helpful for your clients to see? Personally, I don't really see a reason for it, but you guys let me know. Next is the select photos button. Now, I know there's going to be varying opinions here. Personally, I don't like the select photos button showing. I don't like that route. I'm going to set that to hide. I'm also going to leave the slideshow button to hide. Excuse me. Let me mute the mic and cough again. All right, sorry about that, guys. I had a weird tickle going on in my throat. Okay, so the slideshow button, I usually set that to hide. Share button. This is kind of a personal preference. You can let your clients share their galleries out with their friends and family. If you're going to do that, I usually like having the share button set to show. It's nice because it's kind of up here out of the way versus the social media icons that you can show over your image thumbnails, which we're going to get to here in a minute, because I don't like a lot of stuff hovering over my thumbnails and my images when people are looking through the gallery. I like the images to be pretty clean and pretty clear. So I'm going to show that share button, and then we're going to go down here, and let me just keep scrolling down here. And just a couple of things here, like date created, date modified, number of visitors. All of that stuff, I don't really want any of that stuff showing. I like to keep things, again, really simple. Pagination, however you say that, I always set that to hide. And then we're going to jump over here to grid options, okay? And so what grid options are these are the way, this controls the way that your grid looks to your visitors. Now, if you're using an older layout, sometimes it'll have like grid C turned on or grid D. My personal favorite grid is grid B. If you are setting this gallery up for proofing, you definitely want to use either grid A or grid B. Do not use grid C. Grid C will crop your images, and that's not going to be a good proofing experience for your clients. The reason that I like grid B so much is because grid B makes your landscape oriented images the same height as your portrait oriented images, therefore making it easier for people to see faces and recognize people in those landscape oriented photos. With grid A, as you can see, it's going to make those landscape oriented photos smaller, and so it's going to make it a little harder for people if they're trying to proof and they want to see that in a bigger sense. So that's why I like grid B so much, is because it shows the landscape oriented images the same height as your portrait oriented images. Now, the rest of this stuff is just all personal settings. How much space do you want between your images? How large do you want your image? All of those settings are different things that you can control right here. You can play around with them. I don't have any recommended settings other than don't make your images really, really small, but don't make your images really large. You want people to be able to see the images without having to always click on them and make them larger, but you also want to make it easy for them to browse the entire gallery, but you still want to let them see the images pretty decently on the thumbnails page as well. So finding somewhere in the middle is what I recommend, like a happy medium on the size. Now we're going to jump down to the thumbnails tab. And this is where I definitely recommend changing a lot of stuff. So first of all, by default, your title here is set to show. And what we were talking about earlier, we were setting that title to be the file number That way clients can see the file number of their images just in case they're on the phone with you or they want to reference it that way, right? So we can set that title to show. And then a lot of times I like to use these overlays, but if you want to let them copy the file number, like maybe they want to email you back the file number or something like that. If you want to let them copy that file number, it's going to be easiest to do that when you have it set to show below the mat or inside the photo below the photo. Either one of those. I'm going to go with below the mat. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead and set the alignment to center. Buy button, show on hover is fine, but again, this is a proofing gallery, so at this point, there's probably not going to be a price list assigned to it. These social media icons, I always uncheck them. These are the ones I was talking about a second ago to where they kind of show up and hover over the image. These are things that I always turn off and set to hide. I want people using that share button. I don't want a bunch of stuff popping up over the image when my clients hover over it. Access control icon. Again, this is just going to show that this image is password protected. I don't feel like that's necessary. What do you guys think in chat? Do you guys think it's nice to have that little lock icon showing over the images? Does it give your clients an extra sense of peace of mind that their photos are protected? Or do you feel like it's a distracting element that's really not worth showing anyway? That's kind of how I feel about it. Curious to see what you guys feel about it. Sequence numbers. This is the big one, you guys. Sequence numbers are the little numbers in the top right corner of your thumbnail images. And a lot of times people try to reference their photos by those sequence numbers. Let me explain something about sequence numbers. Sequence numbers are not tied to a specific image. They are tied to the image's place in the gallery. So if your client's using the sequence number and they're saying, oh, I like number 4, and you go look at the gallery and maybe you added some new photos, maybe you reorganized it, the image that was number 4 is no longer going to be number 4. I always hide the sequence numbers because I want to use that file name as my photo title and I want them to reference that. All right. So keep moving on down here. This is one thing we do want to show. We do want to show the favorites. So we're going to show that add to favorites because this is how I prefer people to add photos to their favorites or for them to indicate which photos that they like. Now, video icon and video duration. I have these set to show, and the reason that I do that is because if there are no videos in this gallery, you are not going to see any icons at all. However, if you upload videos into the gallery, the icon will show and the duration will show over the image. If you have these set to hide and your client is browsing the gallery thumbnails, depending on your settings, they might not even realize that something's a video. So that's why I leave these set to show. Okay, and then we're going to go down here to guest book. I always recommend hiding the guest book. I find it distracting. I'm not a huge fan of it. If you guys have watched the stream long enough, you've heard me mention, turn off the guest book, turn off the guest book. It becomes a place for spam and things that you have to deal with if you don't have it set up correctly. I don't use it. I recommend turning it off. And then the last thing is we're going to go down here to dim the lights mode. And if you remember, I was talking about what happens to the photos whenever a client clicks on them. I set it to go to dim the lights mode. And so this is what controls the options to is what's available on dim the lights mode. One of the things that you want to do is, since we're setting this up specifically for proofing, I would recommend showing the photo toolbar and then setting it to maybe buttons. And I'll show you what that is in just a second. So now that we have all these settings set up, what we're going to do is go down here and we're going to hit apply. All right. And this gallery is going to look quite a bit different. So that select the photos button is gone. The download button's here. That means that I have some photos turned on for downloading, which I definitely do not recommend. I was probably doing it demoing something, and I'll show you guys how to turn that off. But if we scroll down here, we can now see there is the file name for that photo. And if we hover over it, there's the heart icon here. That's what your clients are going to use to favorite these images. So they would hover over an image, click heart, keep going and going. And again, as you can see, right there's the file number. So if they're talking to you on the phone, they're like, yeah, I really like number 3 or number 2. That's how that's going to work. Now, what I'm going to do is there's a price list applied to this, so it doesn't open to dim the lights mode, and it looks like I have the downloading options on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back into edit view really quick. We're going to take that price list off. We're going to make sure that there's no downloading. We're going to publish this, and then I'll take you through what this looks like to a client. So we're going to jump back over, go to this tab really quick. This is why I keep these two tabs open, and we're going to come right here, and then we're just going to go down to that gallery. And I'm going to go to price list first of all, and I'm going to say do not allow print ordering because we're setting this up to be a proofing gallery with no print ordering right now. And then just to make sure, I'm going to click all, and I'm going to go price list, and I'm going to say follow my gallery settings because I change a lot of things in here, you guys. And so sometimes I have things set up really weird. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to go to access, and we are going to sync these settings with the gallery. And then I'm just going to go and make sure that the gallery has the downloading option turned off because, again, I don't want people coming in here and downloading these. So I'm clicking on the gallery, going back to access, and I'm going to downloading, and I'm saying do not allow downloading. Guys, if you want to sell digital downloads, if you want to do any kind of downloads, even if you want to give your downloads away for free to clients who have paid for it, maybe through a session fee, I cannot stress enough how much I recommend not using this downloading option for anything because there's no tracking, there's no license agreement or anything like that. This lets them download your images right out of the gallery for free without any kind of tracking. So I cannot stress enough how much I would never, ever, ever use this. All right, so we're going to save that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to jump back into customize view really quick. So I'm just going to jump back in here. And then what we're going to do is refresh this really quick. We should see some of these options go away. All right, so that downloading button went away. It looks like, why is there a photo still to buy there? Let me go back in here and make sure that I set this up. Okay, so those are all set up to not. Okay, so what we're going to do is go in here and we're just going to, so if you want to use this as your gallery defaults, you're going to want to make sure you click save as default, hit apply. And then after you do that, these become your gallery default settings. And then what you're going to do is publish those changes right up here, okay? So we're going to publish those changes. And then what we're going to do is just copy this gallery link up here up top. And I'm going to take you into a new incognito window and show you what this looks like to a client. All right, so here we are in a new incognito window. I'm going to paste in that link. We're going in here as a client. So that's why I'm getting hit with the visitor sign in. And let's see if it's going to let me enter. Oh, okay. zenvisitor@gmail.com. And the gallery password. I thought I took the gallery password off. I don't remember what the gallery password is. Let's go back and see what that gallery password is. All right, so here, let me get back on this. Sorry guys, my mouse is clicking weird. It's not working right. Okay, so let's go make the gallery public. Apparently I didn't make the gallery public like I thought I did, so let's go. That's not even the right gallery. There we go. I'll get it right eventually. My mouse is just like, I don't know what it's doing. It's being weird. Super weird. All right. Come on, internet. There we go. Okay, so we're going to go to access. We're going to say public. I want it to be public. And then I'm just going to make sure that I have the password set, or the price list setting set up the way I wanted it to. Okay, so then we're going to go price list. Do not allow print ordering and save that. There we go. Okay, so now if I refresh this little window right here, now I shouldn't have to enter the password. I just have to do the visitor sign in. There we go. You guys, like I said, I do really weird stuff with these galleries all the time. I'm always demoing to people. I'm always applying different settings. So at any given point in time, these galleries could be set up like completely crazy off the wall. And so I always have to like make sure that I go in and change it up. All right. Okay, so this is what the gallery is going to look like to the clients. as you can see, most of the stuff that I wanted is gone off of here. And if I hover over a photo, we now have that little heart icon right here. So if I wanted to save this as a favorite, I could click there and save it as a favorite. Now, when I click there, since I'm in an incognito window now, I would have to log in or create a client account. So anytime your clients go to save favorites, we do require them to create a client account with you. That gives these favorite sets a place to live. It lets you see all of that information. And so that's how that works. But just to show you now, if I click on an image, it's going to pull this up in dim the lights mode. And the nice thing about dim the lights mode is you can navigate it from your keyboard. So if I'm a client and I want to browse my photos, I pull up dim the lights mode, and then I can just use my keyboard and scroll through these different photos like this. And there's the add to favorites button right there. Handy and convenient. All right, guys. So that is how I recommend setting up your client gallery for proofing using the favorites feature, making sure that all those options are set to show. And then I recommend making your client gallery settings your default settings for your galleries, because hopefully you have more clients than you do portfolio galleries, and that way this is going to be used for all of your client galleries, and then you would just go in and modify your individual portfolio galleries at a later time. All right, let me get back here. And really quick, if you're watching the recorded version of this, I'd love to have you jump on a live stream and hang out with us, but I know not everybody can stop what they're doing. Jump on YouTube on Thursday, which is why I'm so thankful for you guys who are hanging out with me today. Let's see, we've got Al Guzman, 24/7 Media Group, Craigslist, Eli, who else do we have here? Kat, let's see, Deborah Stevenson, John McCormick, and Tim Griffin. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. But like I said, if you're watching the recorded version of this, I'd love to have you hang out on the live stream. But I know it's not always convenient just to stop what you're doing on Thursday. But if you have a question that you would like for me to answer the following week, there's a link in the video description below that says questions for next week. You can click that. It's going to take you to a form where you can submit your questions, and I will answer those the following week. All right, so let me go over here. Let's see, I know we got a question. So let me grab a question here really quick. All right, Al Guzman says, I protect my galleries with passwords. If I use some of those images in a blog, I have to create a new gallery, not password protect them, and then reference those photos in the blog. Is that the only way? Well, hey, Al, that's a great question. I'm going to say that that's probably the best way to do it. Hands down, that's probably the best way to do it, but it's not the only way to do it. Again, I'm going to say again that I would definitely recommend continuing to do it that way, but there is another way that you can do it, and let me show you how to do that really quick. So let's say that in this client gallery right here, and let me hide myself so you guys can see that. Let's say in this client gallery right here that's password protected, let's say that I want to use one of these photos in a blog post or something like that. All right. If that's the case, then what you can do is you can go to that photo that you want to use, click on that photo, and then if you click on access, all right, you see photo only access setting. And then in here, you can set that photo to public. Now, when you do that, I would also recommend going down to search and making sure that that photo stays not to be included in any search results, and then hit save. Okay. And so basically what we've done is we've created a public photo in a password protected gallery that's really only accessible via a backdoor, like if somebody were to have the direct link to that image. And then that is going to allow you to use that photo in blog posts and different things like that. Again, I would really, really recommend continuing to do it the way that you're doing it. But if that's too much of a pain, if you just don't want to do it that way, this way does work. I just don't like changing the security settings in client galleries like that, because there's a chance you might accidentally have all of the photos selected, and if you don't do it exactly right, you could accidentally password protect the client's gallery. So again, I just recommend keeping it the way that you were doing it previously. All right. Okay, let me grab another question here. Good question, though, Al. Thank you so much for putting that question in there. I really appreciate it. That is a great question. All right, next question. Deborah says, if I'm going to sell self-fulfilled products, and my orders will go through PayPal account, will Zenfolio still keep track of the sales tax that I collect? So I believe that if you're charging sales tax, that information is still going to be on your order reports. I cannot 100% guarantee this, Deborah, because I've never really examined this situation. So I'm just telling you how my best speculations for this particular scenario. But I believe the sales tax is still going to be shown on your report, whether you're doing self-fulfilled products or not. So if I move your question up here out of the way, first of all, you want to make sure that you have it set to collect sales tax on your self-fulfilled products. All right. And big disclaimer, guys, I'm not a tax professional. I'm not giving you tax advice. I just want to show you where to go and turn this setting on. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go, first of all, to our username right here. And we're just going to click on account. And then once we're in there, what we're going to do is we're going to go down to selling right over here. And we're going to go to sales tax right here. And then what we're going to do is say, yes, we want to collect sales tax. And then you choose your state or wherever you're at. And then right over here is where you can elect to charge sales tax for your self-fulfilled products. Once you have that turned on and that's selected and you save it, then I would assume that any of your orders, the sales tax that's being calculated and all of that, that it would be showing in your sales reports. If you go to selling and then you go to reports and payouts, sales reports, and then you should be able to click on taxes, and that information should be showing up under here somewhere for you here. All right. So I wish I had a really detailed answer for you, Deborah. I'm pretty sure that the tax is going to show just like it does for vendor fulfilled products, but I can't 100% guarantee that that is going to be the case. But I'm pretty sure it's going to. Great question though, you guys. Great questions today, you guys. All right, let me grab my next question here really quick. All right, John McCormick says, is there a way to disable select photos for mobile shopping? I sell wall calendars and the preview photos aren't actually for sale. I just want clients to be able to add the calendar to the cart. So John, I'm not 100% sure that I completely understand the situation that you're referring to. I have an idea. And if it's what my idea is, unfortunately, the answer, I believe, is going to be no. However, if you can do me a favor, if you could just shoot an email to support@zenfolio.com and you could just put attention Robert in that subject line, send me a short video, screenshot, something of what exactly you're referring to, and I will take a look at that and see if I can give you a better answer. So just need a little bit more clarification and probably need to actually look at what you're talking about. Sorry, I don't have a better answer for you, John, but I will definitely look into it once I completely understand what you are asking there. So again, just make sure that you send me that that information and I'll take a look at it. All right. All right. All right. Next question from 24/7 Media Group says, can you please talk a little bit about creating custom pages? And Richard sent an article in chat. Sweet. All right. So sounds like Richard is already taking care of that one a little bit. Not sure exactly what you're looking for, 24/7 Media, on custom pages. So if you have something very specific that you are trying to accomplish with those custom pages, like if you're like, man, I want to set up like a portfolio preview, or I want to embed a form or something like that, if you could give me just a little bit more detail, we do still have 20 minutes left. I can probably get you pretty close to what you're wanting. I just need to know a little bit more about what you're asking. All right, let me grab some tea really quick, you guys, because my throat is starting to go a little crazy. Are you guys still shooting? Who has kind of come to a ease or a halt in their shooting? Are you guys still busy with the weekend? I know I've got a couple of shoots left. I think I'm shooting this weekend, and I'm shooting the am I shooting the following weekend? I don't know. I'd have to look at the date, but I know that I'm still busy shooting. Are you guys still shooting? When do you guys slow down and kind of take off for the holidays? Do you work right up to the holiday, or do you kind of ease off here in about a week or two? Let me know. I'm curious to see what you guys are up to in chat. All right, let's see. Got another question here. Let me grab the next question. All right. All right, so this question says, where do I export order information from? I'd like to for some specific self-fulfilled product order and just for my sales documentation in general. All right, so you can export your order information in your Zenfolio account. So if you go into your account, you can go up to, right up here, you can go up to selling, and then you're just gonna go click on selling, or you can click on reports and payouts. And then you're going to click right over here to reports and payouts. And this is where you can export that information under sales report. All right, so you can go here. There's lots of things that you can export, lots of different data you can get. I would definitely recommend going in here and exploring the options, playing around with it, seeing what you can do, because this stuff will help you understand what you're selling the most of, what worked well, what didn't work well, and then it can kind of help you strategize for the coming year. So definitely make sure that you come in here and take a look at this stuff. So I'm not exactly sure what you're looking to export, but you can go to products, the product tab right here. You click on the product tab, and then here you can say show all products, or you can choose a product that's available. Now this one right here, I probably have some kind of weird toggle set on here, so I probably have like last year. Let's do this year. Of course, I'm probably not going to have any orders anyway because this is my demo account, but let's see. And then if I go here, now I can click on self-fulfilled, and then I can export the self-fulfilled information here of what I sold and how many orders and all of that stuff. Now, if you want to see just a list of all the orders from a previous year, there's all these different tabs give you so many different options of data that you can export. So again, I would just really strongly recommend that you get in here and you play around with it, and you make sure that you see what's available to you, because there's lots of good information in here that you can use. It's definitely a thing that a lot of people forget about in Zenfolio. All right, let me go back. Let's see. Next question. If I am allowing free downloading after a password is entered, does my password to download have to be the same as the one to enter the locked gallery? And where do I make that distinction? Great question. All right, so let me show you guys that. It was basically back where I was before. So if we're going to go into this gallery, and let's just go to the Wallace family portraits right here. So here we are behind my head there, Wallace family portraits. And then what we're going to do is go up here to access. Now this gallery is locked with a password, as you can see right here. And then downloading is right here, and you can allow downloading with a password. And this password doesn't actually have to be the same password as you're using for the gallery. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. Now, I want to back up a little bit to something I said earlier. Again, I cannot tell you guys how much I recommend not using this downloading method, because the second you turn this on, even if you lock it with a password, let's say you're a wedding photographer, and maybe with your wedding packages, you give your bride and groom free downloads, right? And so you turn this on, you lock the downloads with a password, your bride and groom go in there, they enter the password, and they download the photos, right? First of all, there's no tracking on that, so you can't see who downloaded the photos. It just tells you how many people downloaded the photos. Second, they don't have to agree to any kind of license before they download the photos. Third, there is nothing stopping them from sharing that link and that password out with whoever, right? So like maybe we don't have a problem with them sharing the photos with the mom. We kind of figure that's going to happen, but what about all the bridesmaids and all the groomsmen and their families and their friends and all that? And before you know it, everybody's going in there and they're downloading your images without restriction, and they're not even agreeing to any kind of license, and you have a big mess on your hands. So again, I know I've said this once and I'm going to say it again. I would not use this downloading option for anything at all. Hands down, I would not use it. What I would recommend is if you do need to give free downloads, let's say again, you're including downloads with your session package or your session fee. If you need to give downloads for free, utilize Zenfolio's digital products feature. And then also you can use a coupon code to make downloads free for only specific clients. And if that's something you're really interested in, there's a video that covers just that on our YouTube channel. I think it's called How to Allow Your Clients to Download Their Photos for Free. If Richard could find that video and throw the link out in chat for you guys, it's definitely a great video to go over. But again, strongly, I recommend not using that downloading option in the gallery. All right, let me grab my next question here really quick. All right. Is there anything on my prints when clients order? I'm using MPix and I want to make sure that there is no trace of what lab it came from. Can I also put custom text on the back of my prints? That's a great question, you guys. So let me show you where those settings are really quick. So what you're going to do is you're going to go up here to your account right here. Once you're in your account, you're going to get yourself out of the way. You're going to go down here to selling like this. And then what you're going to be looking for is, I believe it's here, vendor preferences. This is what we're looking for right here. So these are going to be all of your vendor preferences. And since that question specifically asked about MPix, I'm going to show you those settings, which also happen to be first. So here we are right here. This is the MPix Vendor Lab settings. And as you can see right now, there is a backprint option. And right now it is set to print nothing on the back. Well, you can drop this down and there's actually different options that you can apply here to have printed on the back of your photos that are being printed by MPix. So you can do the date and time, the file name, a combination, the copyright, date and custom text, which is pretty cool, and then custom text as well. Now, it's not going to be custom text per photo. It's going to be custom text that you enter here and save. So it's can't be updated per photo. Basically, you could have the date taken and a specific custom text like Zenfolio Live or whatever you want it to say on the back of your prints. Or it can just be the custom text, but those options are here. And then this option right here, you want to make sure is checked. It's set to hide the vendor information from your visitors. And then each Zenfolio integrated vendor has different options that are available to you. If you go here, you can kind of scroll down and see what options there are. I think most of the print labs will let you do back printing. A couple of them do not. If you are an advanced user and you have Miller's integrated, you can actually have your studio logo set to be printed on the backs of your photos if you want. Now, you do have to set that up with Miller's. You have to create a Miller's account, upload your logo, have it on file with them. And then in your Zenfolio account, you have to make sure that we integrate you with your Miller's number so that they know what logo to put on your prints. And then you can set that up here. But that information is all right here in your account. Again, you're going to go up to your name, go to account, and then once you're in there, you're going to go to selling and vendor preferences. And that's where you can see that information. All right. Let's go back to photos, and it looks like 24/7 Media Group said they want help with custom pages, adding links, right? I think that's what you're looking for, is how to add links to custom pages. So if that's what you're looking for, it's actually pretty easy to do. What we're going to do is go to website really quick. We'll go to custom pages. And then I'm just going to go to, I don't know, I'll just click a new one here and I'll say this is 24/7. And then if you want to add a link, you're just going to come in here and you're going to write whatever you want to write. So you can do like, click here, whatever text you want to use for your link. And then you just highlight that text. And then you're going to go right here to the link tool. You're going to click on that and you're going to paste in that link. Now, if this link is going to an external page outside of Zenfolio where your visitors are going to lose your navigation, I would definitely recommend you set this to open up in a new tab like this. If not, if this is just a link to like one of your Zenfolio galleries or a contact page or something like that, it's perfectly fine letting it open up in the same tab because they're going to have your Zenfolio navigation here. You can also link to an email here as well. So the link type, you can change this to be a email link, and then you can put in information, and then when they click on this, it'll actually open up their default email client with a message kind of already set up. You can also link to an anchor in your text if you have an anchor created. Currently, I don't have any anchors created, so there's nothing for me to link to, but that is an option here. Now, 24/7, if you were looking for how to use images as links, you can do that as well, and it's actually a pretty simple process. So what you're going to do is go to Photo, and you do have to have the image uploaded to your Zenfolio account. It has to be able to be public, and then you can use an image to link. I like setting up custom pages with images as links because you can bring those images up in Photoshop, put some nice text on them, and do some really cool stuff. But you're just going to go to that image. So let's see, let me go in here and click on this. And let's just say for whatever reason, I want to use, let's go to this one. And it's my internet being slow. There we go. Okay, we're going to select this photo. And then if we go down, there's a set options right here, and you can change the click action. So right now it's just going to add this as a photo. It's going to be a static photo. Nothing's going to happen when I click on it. But I can change this click action to be a go-to URL. Then I can paste in the URL. So let's say we want to go to, I don't know, let's go to google.com. And let's set it to open in a new tab. And then we're just going to go ahead and click that insert button, insert that photo. I'm going to save and preview this really quick. And then here's that image. And when I click on it, it opened Google in a new tab, as you guys can see right here. All right, so that is the couple of different ways that you can do links in your Zenfolio custom page. Hopefully some of that got close to what you were looking for 24/7. If not, definitely please feel free to clarify a little bit more in the chat. I'd be more than happy to answer that question. All right, let me see. Let me grab another email question really quick. All right, this question says, what are my options with customizing the way my emails look? Is that also a part of my theme? So I'm not going to have enough time to really deep dive in this, but I'm going to show you really quick how you can customize the colors and fonts that are used on your emails. So what we're going to do is we're going to go right over here, and what I'm going to do is get Customize View opened up in a new tab really quick. So I'm just going to right click on Preview, open this in a new tab. And anytime we work in Theme Designer, I definitely recommend opening it up in a new tab. You're going to go here, you're going to go to Edit, Edit Page, and then on this page, you're going to open up Theme Designer. So we're going to go right here, and we're going to get Theme Designer open. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to go to Themes, uncheck Use Default. I'm going to click Edit Theme, and now we're going to have Theme Designer open in this tab, and then on the other tab, we're going to have Edit View. Okay? And so Theme Designer does take a little bit of time to load, which is why I always recommend opening this up in a new tab. But there's an email tabs right here. So there's a style tab. This is where a lot of stuff is controlled. But if you're specifically trying to change your email theme, the way your emails look, you go to the emails tab, and here are all the different settings that you can change. So you can change the colors of your fonts, the background, your display name, the links, all of that stuff is right here. So you just click on an element, and then when you find the element you want to change, you can go over here, change the color, hit done, save that, and then you will have to publish. So you're going to go save, hit done, and then we're going to publish that change really quick. So I'm going to publish it, Right here's the publish button. I'm going to publish that because I did make a change. We'll say yes, publish. And now we're not seeing that change here because specifically we are looking for changing the email. So now once this publishes, I can go back into edit view. So I'm just going to close this, come back in here, do a quick refresh on my browser, refresh that. And then if I go in here to email the gallery and I come down here and I add some kind of, I choose a template. And again, you guys can see my internet's like super slow right now. Let's go template. There we go. And then I'm just going to do email at email.com. We're going to do continue to preview. And now you can see my display name is red because I changed the email theme. And so that's how you do that. That's how you change that right there. All right. All right. Well, we got 4 minutes here. Let's see. I know we have a question about downloads. Let's see. Alan said, can you refresh my memory on how to find the theme editor? I recently changed my theme and I would like to change the background color from white to charcoal gray. Hopefully, Alan, I just kind of showed you how to do that, but let me show you how I recommend that you work in Theme Designer when you're using it for a page instead of for your emails. So what I did was just emails. Let me show you how I recommend doing it when you are actually working on a page. So what we're going to do is we're just going to right click on preview again, open that in a new tab. That's going to load preview in a new tab. You're going to go to edit page. This is where we're going to get into customize view. And then from here in customize view, you're going to go to themes, right click on themes and open that in a new tab because you're going to want to have 3 tabs open when you're working in Theme Designer. Okay, so in this tab, you're going to go themes, uncheck the default, click edit theme. And so here's what you want to have open when you're working on your website, working on Theme Designer, customizing things. You want 1 tab with edit view. So you can come back here if you need to reference anything. 1 tab with customize view. And then the last tab would be Theme Designer, where you would come in and do things like change the background. So depending on what background you're trying to change, you can come down here, go to background and change all of that right here, whatever you're trying to change. And then once you're done, and you can click save right here, you leave this tab open, jump back to the previous tab right here. And then if you refresh this, you should see the changes that you've made be applied here to that. So that is how I recommend working on Theme Designer. Once you're happy with everything, make sure that you publish it so those changes go live. All right, let's see here. How much time we have? We have 2 minutes and 35 seconds left. I think I can answer at least one more question. You guys have been awesome in chat today, though. Thank you so much for all the great questions. I'm going to answer one more email question. Is there a way to choose the order of my images in a gallery other than the few sort options that are available? All right. So when you're in a gallery, you can go right up here and you can go to sort, and there are all these different sort options that you can choose. So you can sort A to Z, you can sort by the date taken, you can sort all kinds of different ways. However, if those aren't the options that you're looking for, you can always manually sort your images. You can literally just grab a photo and drag it over in the order that you want it to appear. So as far as organizing the photos in your gallery go, you can drag them and drop them in place how you want them, or you can sort up here, and those are the options that you have. And definitely, if you didn't already know this, the order that you see your images on the gallery on this end represent the order that they will appear to your clients on the other side when they're actually viewing their photos. Great question, though. That's how you do it. Those are, unfortunately, the only options that are there, although I'm really not sure what other options there would be as far as sorting goes. But you can just kind of come in here and manually sort them like that if you want. All right. Great question, though. All right, guys, we are running out of time, so I do want to say thank you guys so much to everybody who hung out with me today here on the live stream. Let's see. Thanks to Sean. Thanks 24/7 Media Group. It's Goosey, Alan Shattuck. Let's see who else we got. Deborah Stevens, Eli, Mike Mini Photography said hi, and I missed it. Hey, Mike, thanks for jumping on here. Tim Griffin, John McCormick. Make sure I don't miss anybody. And Craigslist, Kat, Richard, all of you guys. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Hopefully you guys found this helpful. Make sure that you give it a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button and subscribe to that. And hey, if you're watching the recorded version of this and you want to learn more about Zenfolio, I would recommend watching the videos that are popping up on your screen sometime within the next few seconds. Until next week, you guys, make sure that you do something positive, help somebody, encourage somebody, be a positive force in this world, and I will see you guys again next week.